There's a million sounds, yet you're the only one I hear. There's a trillion moments, but I can only recall just one.
After telling Dawn,
"Fine, go for it,"
and hanging up the phone, Dawn called back. He wanted to go out with her again. Against her better judgment. Who are we kidding? Hannah has no judgment. Hannah decided to go out with Dawn again, and they met at the club. While out on their date, Juan called, furious. Izzy wasn't single. Why did she try setting him up with someone who was already taken? Clearly she can't even pick out single people for her friends. She got off the phone just to listen to Dawn go on and on about how he was not looking for a serious relationship. Hannah's phone buzzed again. Turns out some people do leave their significant others for the other person they just met. Juan and Izzy are now dating. Hannah is a matchmaker after all. When she looked up from her phone, Dawn was checking out Candy. Candy started telling a very inappropriate story about herself in her underwear, and Dawn was loving it. Hannah thought it was time to make Dawn jealous. Maybe that way he'd realize what a good thing he had. She spotted a cute guy across the room and headed over to flirt with him. She used her favorite new pickup line, thanks to the old lady she met.
"I have been sifting through the garbage to find my gem. Are you my gem?"
He was not amused and absolutely hated Hannah. She felt so embarrassed. Even worse, Dawn was upset that she was flirting with someone else on their date. Apparently it's only okay when he does it. He told her to never call him again and barged out of the club. Of course, all he said was,
"Never call me again."
He didn't say he wouldn't call her. This time, though, it was just before work, so she told him no. She arrived home from another day of working in customer service, bored out of her mind. So when Dawn showed up at her door looking for a good time, she figured, why not? He looks like an underwear model after all. After some pleasantly satisfying woohoo, Dawn serenaded Hannah while she made the bed. She thought about having breakfast together, like a real couple. Before she could get breakfast, Dawn whispered some sweet nothings in her ear and agreed to be her boyfriend. She was enamored. As Dawn said goodbye, she felt much better about things. He was her boyfriend now, after all. And hey, even if he left before breakfast, at least this time he said goodbye before heading out the door. After Dawn left, Travis called and invited Hannah over. He was having a rough day. She came over as soon as she could and comforted him. The poor man was exhausted being a single dad looking after his newborn baby. Hannah told Travis he needed some time to take care of himself, too. She offered to help Travis out and gave him a reassuring hug. Summer, his roommate, walked by glaring. Was she jealous of Hannah? Or was she just looking out for Travis, worried that Hannah was going to hurt him? That night, Hannah snuggled baby Jarrett. Despite being exhausted herself, she stayed up throughout the night to look after Jarrett while Travis got some much-needed sleep. When Jarrett finally went to sleep, she crashed on the couch. And the second Jarrett woke up with a dirty diaper, she got up to run into the room and change it before Travis woke up. The next morning, she asked Travis how he was feeling and recommended that a shower might help. Just then, her phone rang. Dawn was calling to tell her he was in love with Lilith Pleasant, and then right after, her boss called to tell her she was in trouble for missing work. She went home and snuggled Buttercup. She could care less about her job, but when would Dawn realize that she was the one for him? Just then, Dawn called again, asking her on another date. She met up with him at the cantina, and the two of them woohooed in the bush while this creeper watched. When they got out of the bush, a random man she met at the cantina and flirted with one time came up and slapped her in the face for cheating. Luckily, Hannah laughed off how ridiculous it was.
"See ya! Wouldn't want to be ya."
She barely ever spoke to this man after all. Hannah's feelings for Dawn had grown. She was deeply in love. He, meanwhile, was like,
She gives some good advice. It's pretty cool.
Just then, her phone rang. It was Bjorn calling, asking her advice on someone. Why did Bjorn keep calling, asking for her opinion? He was a spy. What was his game? After hanging up the phone, she professed her love to Dawn. He was less than thrilled. What will happen next in the legacy of Hannah McCoy?
Yeah!